problem with the all these stakeholders we need to get that and agree with them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. Welcome to midweek edition of Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and with me in the studio is our Wednesday guest. Always in the studio every Wednesday, and he's a three title chief. He wears 3 caps. He's a public affairs analyst, a TV host, and a syndicated columnist. His name is Jide Ojo.
Yeah, you're welcome, Winifred. It's a pleasure to be on this show. Let's do it again. Back at the salah to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Ramadan is gradually winding down. I think there are just 2-3 days to go, or about 4 days actually. But Ramadan Kareem, and we wish
all our Muslim
women best of Eid celebration next week.
Thank you so much. And as usual on the program, we have 4 papers for review, and that is the nation's most influential newspaper, The Leadership, its sister publication, National Economy, THISDAY, and The Guardian. Of course, as usual, we'll always flag up with leadership. Let's see what leadership is saying. But incidentally, all the papers, Leadership, THISDAY, and Guardian, are leading with individual stories this morning. You know, we are in the political space now, and most news are always on political terrain, political news. So Leadership has Tambuwal on its cover, and it says 5 days after collapse of Northern PDP consensus, Tambuwal's closed-door meeting with PMB raises defection rumor. 5 days after collapse of Northern PDP consensus, Tambuwal's closed-door meeting with PMB raises defection rumor. Has so much riders underneath the story. It's bipartisan democracy. I was invited by the president, says the Sokoto governor, Tambuwal. President won't impose outsiders on APC aspirants, members, Okorocha, former governor of Imo State. Bello Yaya Bello picks 100 million naira APC presidential form as Ayade declares. Zone presidency loser votes. Northern youth threaten APC PDP. I'll take Leadership's leading story once again. 5 days after collapse of Northern PDP consensus, Tambuwal's closed-door meeting with PMB raises defection rumor. It's bipartisan democracy. I was invited by the president, says the governor, Sokoto State Governor Tambuwal. President would impose outsiders on APC aspirants, members of Okorocha. Bello picks 100 million naira APC presidential form as Ayade declares. Zone presidency loser votes. Northern youth threaten APC PDP. It's
a very, very interesting.
And you know, there was a consensus arrangement between some northern elders.
Northern aspirants, you mean?
Yes, among the northern aspirants.
I think they zoned to Sakaraki.
Yes, Saraki and
Bala Mohammed.
So do you think this could have triggered this sudden meeting with PNB?
Well, it's too early in the day.
Tambuwal was not too pleased with that. He said he was not part of the consensus.
Irrespective, I think for me, there is a section of the media that reported today that the zoning of offices in PDP has collapsed. So there is no zoning, because even if you go by Saraki, Bala Mohammed, they are both northern candidates.
Yes.
You cannot by any stretch of imagination say Saraki is from the south. He is from north. Kwara is considered to be one of the northern states. And for you to have picked somebody from north central and another from northeast, as a running mate. I think it's suicidal for PDP. And it's actually curious that Tambuwa went to meet with the president. Now he's telling us it was on the president's invite. What would the president want to discuss with an opposition governor? And this is not on the platform of Northern Governors Forum. This is not on the platform of Progressive Governors Forum of the North. And so it raises posers why the president would want to discuss with Tambuwa at this period where there are so many permutations. And of course, it's surprising. None of the parties also talking about Goodluck Jonathan. Because Goodluck Jonathan is also allegedly poised to declare.
Yes, leadership led with the Jonathan story on Saturday.
On Saturday, okay, maybe. He said he's still consulting. He has not. And let's examine.
We also learned that he gave some conditions. I think one of the conditions was that he's not going to be in the race with other aspirants. He should just be given the ticket.
Okay. You know, that's a very funny, because a lot of people on social media have been asking Ochoke, former president, not to run. But it's within his constitutional right if he so wish. The bottom line for me is this meeting with the president by Tambuwa raises a lot of posers.
Red flag.
Well, not red, it may be green, it may be orange. The bottom line is that this is the era of politicking. And if tomorrow Tambuwa defects to APC, then you know the president must have given him.
Or are they considering him as maybe probably running mate to Jonathan?
That would be suicidal too, because you are bringing two opposition elements to come and be on your own platform. Don't forget that the
executives of APC, as is presently constituted, were formerly PDP members.
I know, but on paper, how will you say none of your own children is good enough? There's a adage in my part of the world that your child cannot have a big buttock, and then you go and give waist beads to somebody's daughter. You cannot say whatever it is. Abdullah Adamu has since defected from APC, PDP to APC, and likewise Omishore and all of that. So we know that. But these are people who are still carrying member purportedly of PDP as of today. Recall that Tambuwa defected as Speaker of House of Reps from PDP to APC way back in 2014. Now, he went back to PDP ahead of 2019 president, ahead of 2019 actually. That was why his deputy remained in APC. He defected to PDP, and he nearly lost. It's the closest election, governorship election I've ever witnessed. He won by 345 votes or thereabout. Not 3,000, 345 votes or thereabout. So the very slimmest of all money. The one that is closer to it was the Osun State governorship election, where Oyetola won by maybe about 1,000 votes to defeat Senator Ademola Adeleke. So it's beggars believe what the president will be discussing with Tambuwa at this point. And if he should defect on the eve of party primary.
Before elections, there's always defections.
I know. I'm not contesting that, but you know the implication is very great. When you now admit people on the eve of party primary, because by next week we will be in May, and all the primaries are fixed for May. So somebody now coming in on the eve of party primary and getting the ticket of your party, you now gave him waiver. Meanwhile, there have been foundational member of APC since 2013.
Exactly. Like you saw, that is the same thing with happened to McAfee. former governor, whose ambition too was also to become a APC chair. He was also of CPC. You remember, was it Buhari right on time at the end of the day?
I think the president needs to be very careful with his body language. We are not privileged to what they discussed. But if Tambuwal will defect from APC, PDP to APC, only to come and pick tickets either as running mate or as the candidate, I think it's marks of it's going to be very tragic. I feel, and I still feel very strongly, that power should shift to the southeast. You can then bring the vice president from the northeast. You understand? Southeast, northeast. It's a good combination. Well, you can pick from southeast and north central, or southeast and northeast. Northwest, where Tambuwal comes from, has produced two presidents back to back. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and Buhari. So if you now go from Katsina to Sokoto to pick another, that means the rest of the country is not does not matter. And you cannot wish that away. So the president needs to be very careful about his body language. We will watch the situation very closely to see the unfolding drama, and we just hope that this will not upset the apple cart in APC.
Yeah, before we go away from that story, let's see another rider. It says Bello picks 100 million naira APC presidential form as I did declare. Many people have been criticizing this move by Kogi State government, Yaya Bello, that in the sense that the party has already said, no, we are giving this ticket to a southerner. So why would he go and splurge that kind of huge amount?
I don't know if the party has made that expressly, because there are so many insinuations, but he has a lot of resources. So
however, they can't expect that a party that has the president, they have been in power for 8 years, will still want to zone that same ticket to that same place.
If PDP can say that's why the fact that zoning is in their constitution, that they have jettisoned Sunni, and they did not today. They did when they allowed Goodluck Jonathan to be the sole candidate in 2015. That was when they killed the zoning formula. Quite unfortunately. But we see in coming days, Yaya Bello has been the only northerner who has so far procured nomination from the north. All the other aspirants in the APC has been from the south, from Dave Umahi to Chris Ngige to Rocha Sokorocha to Tinubu to Oshibajo. So therefore, all the others have been from the south, southwest majorly, and a couple from southeast, Okorocha, Dave Umahi, OUK. I think all the
no, that one he has stepped down.
Okay, and then at least we know there are 3 of them. Increasingly, he has declared, but he has not procured nomination for. But the bottom line is that I always root for equity, justice, and fairness. And I'm saying, yes, no matter what, if you go by numerical strength, the North will continue to be the deciding factor of who wins the presidency of Nigeria by numbers, voting population, and all of that. But the whole essence of having federal character principle enshrined in the Constitution is for the purpose of national unity, national cohesion, and equity, justice, and fairness. And I think the Igbos should have some kind of affirmative action to make them, whether for 4 years or for 8 years, they deserve to be the next president of Nigeria. But Yaya Bello has every right. Even when I recall that when PDP zoned the ticket, there are some few northerners who still goes ahead to buy the nomination form. It's just that they have made very good contribution to the pulse of the party. Because wherever the party leadership decides that the party power should go, and you know, sometimes they will not turn down anybody that wants to buy from. The reason, for the simple reason that it reduces the chances of party making money.
Mm.
In 2019,
It was only Buhari.
only
40
Buhari,
million.
45 million.
Yes,
And
especially on
it robbed the party of huge revenue because they only allow Buhari to buy the nomination form, just like they did to Goodluck Jonathan in 2011.
It was 2011.
That it was
Yes.
the only, they said they
Yes.
printed only one
It was
form.
2013. I think it also came out. Also
Yes,
printed.
of course. So when you micro zone and say that the only one person you already have a consensus candidate, you rob delegate of making money, you rob the party of opportunity of making money, because all this huge nomination form is what the party will rely on to fend for itself in the intervening years when there are no elections. So if you just collect 100, how much is 100 million? 100 million doesn't pay some rent for 1 year. In Abuja here, 100 million, there are places
Like,
you want to rent.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, like that APC secretariat, you think in the heart of Abuja, you are talking of Wuse 2. And if, of course, they've purchased that place. But just imagine if that should be like 6 or 12 block of flats. And if you have to pay rent in that place, you may actually be paying as much as that amount for 1 year. So, but it's not only in Abuja that APC has office. It has in 36 states. Most of them are also in rented apartments. So what we are saying is that when you have consensus, it makes the party to lose revenue. But we wish Governor Yahaya Bello, these politicians, they go to clerics, they go to prophets, they go to see vision for them. Maybe somebody has said is the next president of Nigeria. I've seen a number of clerics too who have said that God told them that they were going to be the next president. Pastor Tunde Bakare said is the next president of
however,
Nigeria.
why we are
Then there is this morning I watched a video by a 40-year-old cleric, Islamic cleric from Ibadan, who said God told him that is the next president. Yes, that he should go and get for. He said he doesn't have money, but
so
Allah will provide. So you never can tell. With all these prophets and clerics may have told him is the next president, but as we always say, let God's will be done.
Still on leadership, we'll go back to still on leadership. There's a story too that has been making the rounds and is on cover of leadership this morning. Is a Salah, DSS. Can you scroll down a bit? DSS, yeah. DSS uncovers plans to bomb worship centers. Orders. Salah, DSS uncovers plans to bomb worship centers. Orders.
That is, it's now customary for DSS to make all this. I don't know whether it's a security strategy, but even if there are plans, they shouldn't publicize. I think they should have done what is called sting operations. If you have intelligence that there are people planning to bomb worship centers, it is to pass that intelligence to the other security agencies and catch these people unaware. Because when you publish information like this, it might scare people from even going to the worship centers in the first place, because who wants to die? So I think information management from our DSS. I recall that even ahead of Easter celebration, similar news was also published that there are plans to bomb some worship center. I think it's now they are just using the same template to do what is called scaremongering. And like I said, it's not good for
with the same intelligence report. Couldn't they have also apprehended
those who are planning? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They should have used that intelligence to now
can get these plans. Oh, there's plans to bomb worship centers. You can also have gotten
clues as to
clues as
where
to-
exactly they will
the
be going,
perpetrators,
and
what
then
they will
monitor
do.
them to be able to prevent
Yes.
that from happening. And then when you have apprehended them, then you will now show them to the public that you have credible Look at NDLA. NDLA will have apprehended those drug couriers and drug bearers before they will now say that there was credible intelligence that so consignment contain some narcotics or whatever. And they use that intelligence to be able to, but assuming that they have already said, we have intelligence that there is a vessel coming from Brazil, but those people will flee. You will never catch them. Surprise is an element in defense and security strategy.
The story would have been, plans to bomb
aborted.
Yes, they have been nabbed.
It should have been DSS aborted plans to bomb worship center, arrest 8, arrest 10.
Exactly.
But when you are now using, and like I said, go back to a few days to Easter, the same thing was published that there are plans. Of course, terrorists will always plan to bomb suspects. It's not today that has been happening. But to now think that they will target Salah period, what of Jumat? During Jumat, where there is large congregation of Muslim faithfuls on Friday, during Friday prayers. So I will not commend DSS on this. It's a lazy approach to the security and defense. You should use that same intelligence you received to trace, nab the perpetrators, and then say you foiled attempts to bomb, and you have this number of people in custody. That will have done it for me.
Thank you for that. From leadership, we move over to our paper, next paper on our menu, that is THISDAY. THISDAY newspaper. There's also on Osinbajo. Let's see what this is saying on Osinbajo. Osinbajo, I've decided to run. I owe no one else any allegiance. Osinbajo, I've decided to run. I owe no one else any allegiance. Says oath sworn only to Nigeria. Both he will hit the ground running. He is eminently qualified to be president, declares Abiodun. May you come back to my palace as president, Lake praise. After all, that is quoting Osinbajo, I have learned, if called upon to serve the nation, should I say no? I have decided that I will run for the office. I have sworn an oath to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is an oath to our people, our children, and the future of Nigeria. I owe nobody else any allegiance outside the oath. That is the gospel according to the Vice President.
I want to reference Pastor.
But if I may ask, elsewhere in developed countries, the first refuser when the president is going, the first refuser is always given to the vice president. So why is there so much mucus surrounding Osinbajo's?
I like your choice of mucus or rucus. You know, it's because of the way he emerged as vice president in 2014.
No, but there are conflicts, if I may chip in, there are conflicting reports about that. Remember, Buhari has a biographer who wrote his biography. And he did tell us that it was Buhari himself who nominated, who chose.
But I've also seen...
Who chose Osinbajo.
I've also seen, I've also read or seen some posts on social media of those who are privileged to that.
Because Osinbajo is qualified, he's a professor.
No, wait,
he's not so fast. He was nominated
not so
based
fast.
On his...
You know, the Yorubas, there is a Baba Sokwe politics. Baba Sokwe politics is the elders have declared, elders have decided. Tinubu said he has a lifelong ambition to be president.
That is his personal
And
ambition.
he will have offered himself to be the vice presidential candidate in 2015 and 2019, but for the fact that Buhari is a Muslim. Now, he knows that in 2023, the Muslim ticket will not be an issue because the power will shift to the south. And him being a Muslim, the dilemma the party will now have is if they decide to back Tinubu, they will have to look for a northern Christian as a vice president. That is the challenge. Because whether we like it or not, our fault lines have been widened as a result of the action and inactions of this administration. So we now have more religious identities, people holding on to those primordial identities of I'm a Christian, you are a Muslim, I'm a Northerner, you are a Southerner, I'm an Hausa. In fact, among the Hausa Fulani, which you always join together, today, Hausas are denying Fulani identification. So when you say, is it not you people? They say, no, it's not us. So we ourselves as Hausa, we are victims.
They're the ones that are being killed.
That is the Fulanis that are the aggressors now. So it's like the jihad of 18th century by Uthman Danfodio, So you now have those ethnic identity politics. So the challenge with Oshibajo Ronnie is not that he's not qualified. Eminently he's qualified. But the issue is about why will you be running when the person who nominated you in 2014, in the lead up to 2015 general election, has also shown interest. That's why you saw.
That's why you saw. Among those people of Nigeria that say that he's a betrayer or what? No, it doesn't follow because Osinbajo is not contesting for as
neither for
as deputy governor for Lagos State.
I have never hidden my own interest. I've told you, I'm not for Osinbajo. I'm not for Tinubu. I will never be for them. They have never, even if they become president, I will wish them good luck. But I have never hidden my interest in having an Igbo president. Yes. You know that. I've written about it. I've spoken about it on several media platforms. I'm not, and I've even narrowed it down to Peter Obi as the preferred aspirant. So I've not hidden my.
But my analyst there, I've always told you. Like,
yeah, so that is my own position. I'm not hidden it. Over 1 year ago, I've said. And I have documentary evidence of opinions I've written on the need for Igbo presidents in 2023. But between Oshiba, I'm just telling you what is. The people who embark on a campaign of calumny against Oshibajo are saying, why should you run when Asiwaju is running? That who knows you? Who knows you? If not Asiwaju that made you commissioner, that also kind of nominated you to be the vice president. However, later the information, and then when that biographer that you referenced, when he wrote in that book on Buhari, the cap of Tinubu came out and said, look, it's an error of history. That is Tinubu that made Oshibajo vice president.
But the man himself that could have spoken that time, I was waiting for Tinubu to come out and say, no, I was the one that nominated.
No, I said his camp. His camp.
But he didn't come out. I didn't read any press.
No, wait. His camp said this is an error of history, that it's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that nominated Oshibajo. That's the belief they want us to have. There was a press statement to that effect. But more importantly, it's like master servant. God bless his soul. Isaiah. In that Isaiah, if he were to be alive, it is expected that having worked for him, that you will not be contesting the same position with him. That is just moral deference. It's nothing legal.
You think so?
It's not legal. It's just morality people are talking about that, oh, he's a serial betrayer. And you see the camp of Tinubu have gone to do a video panorama of all the people that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu purportedly has put in office, from governors to senators to ministers to Osinbajo's picture is among it. And he has not, Osinbajo has not also publicly come out to say, no, I wasn't fielded by Tinubu. Do you get it? If he had done that, we would have known he's a man of his own. But he kept quiet while the camp of Tinubu came out and said, look, it's wrong for you to say it's not Tinubu that nominated Osinbajo. But be that as it may, the fear I have for Osinbajo is, will the power be shifted to the southwest again in 2020? Because Yorubas have produced president for 8 years, vice president for 8 years. Now, if we say the northwest, you not bring another Tambuwa because we have had 2 presidents back to back. Why would Yorubas unite? And not even Yorubas again. We are talking of Ogun State.
Same
Ogun State.
Just like we have a northwest.
Exactly. Why should it be somebody from? God bless you. This are presidential guys and the aspirant. I thought they brought the picture of that video where they showed all the people that Tinubu purportedly have put in position. It's a video that is trending. But the bottom line for me is, every one of these people we are seeing on the screen are eminently qualified. They are qualified. Is it Kingsley Moghalu that you said
qualified for just one position?
For just one position, yes. They are all eminently qualified. Is that not Emefiele I'm saying? Emefiele has not officially declared. Yes, people have even raised money. 67 million as at about 3 weeks ago. That has been raised in and they have even bought
pages of newspaper. We're seeing some adverts.
They have also bought operational vehicles, campaign vehicles for him. Now, there's something that I need to also flag as we are entering the era of high-wire politicking, and that is why President Buhari has not officially told all his aides who wants to run to go and resign. Why is he keeping mute, leaving it to their discretion?
Okay, I think that is a story not really lead, but one of the leading stories on
because almost all the governors, most of the governors are fighters who are not in governorship election.
Came on the studio, it's something that I was discussing with my colleagues. I said, really, it's like APC is really serious on this political office holders issue.
Yes.
Because let's see the Guardian. The Guardian says, the Guardian newspaper, it said new APC directive. That is new APC. In other words, they are serious. Can you?
The guidelines. Okay, I think the guidelines came out yesterday.
The rider at the end of the paper. New APC guidelines give Amechi Ngige, I think 72 hours to resign.
Yes.
Or forget 2023 ambition. I was sharing with a colleague. I said, really, APC is just serious on this. Why is this so?
No, why is so is that they are learning, or they've learned from the misadventure of Sanfara.
These political office holders are even members of the same party.
Yes, they are. They are. But really, if it's in other climes, nobody needs to tell Amechi and Ngige to resign before they will have resigned. Because you have every right to contest, but the election is a rule-based. You should not wait for the guidelines to be published before you know that maybe they want to collect salaries for the month of April, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that, look, it's a conflict of interest.
Ngige was saying that the Constitution says public officer, that he is a public officer. So
it's not a public officer. It's not a public servant. It's a public.
No. That he's a public officer.
He's a political office holder. He's not a public
He
servant.
said he's a public officer.
No,
That's
wait.
how he is.
I'm not
I read
saying.
his story. I was like, wow, we are not going to see the end of
See,
this.
political office holder are listed by public servants are listed in the constitution. The ministers and SSS are not listed amongst them. I don't know. He is a medical doctor. He cannot claim to be a lawyer. I've interacted, and okay, whatever it may be his own thought, personal thought. The party has given you a guideline. So whether he will be man enough to now put in a resignation letter or defy,
or to go and show him the constitution, that's what a colleague said. He said,
he should go and send his screening committee the part of the constitution when it is in the guideline that they should read, because it shows that Adamu Abdullah led APC NWC has learned from the Waterloo they met in Rivers and Zamfara in 2019. Even recently, very recently, as at yesterday, Supreme Court said, look, Andy Uba, you were never a candidate in the November 6 election, is the November 6, 2021 election in Anambra State. And that's the candidate that came second or third.
Okay.
So if that election had been in favor of Andy Uba, they would have lost the seat. The same way they lost Zamfara over conduct of invalid primary. So what APC is trying to do is not to jeopardize their chances of winning, because look, Section 84, subsection 13 says if you fail to follow through the modalities that has been specified for direct, indirect, and consensus candidacy, you lose the nomination for that seat. So it is expressed, and they know that this, because Justice Ayadi case pronouncement of Section 84(12) has been unconstitutional, null and void. It's premised on the interpretation of that section that Ngige is quoting, that they are public servants. They're not public servants. Let me tell you, I've weighed in on this. Even yesterday night, I was on AIT, Democracy Today on AIT, to throw light on this issue. Look, it's like saying the president, vice president, and governors are public servants. Yes, if you expand the interpretation of public servants, but they are not listed as public servants.
Even in the constitution.
Civil servants and public servants. Who are the public servants? Those whose work is not 8 to 5 or 7 to 4, or as they do, as those who work in the federal secretariat. Those like the military, they are public servants. People who work in who are not stricto sensu, they are not civil servants. They are not ministry officials. Those are the people we regard as public servants. Now, when the constitution listed them, they didn't list ministers, commissioners, SA, SSA, and all of that as amongst them. That is settled.
Alone is settled.
It's settled.
So that is only what gave win to Umahi. You know that governors was not also listed
among those who are if they defect. Now look at it this way. Look at it this way. Who determines the salaries of public servants? It is the National Income Wages Commission. But the salaries and wages of political office holders where Ngige belongs is determined by Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. Is the one that determines how much SSA, ministers, commissioners, governors, deputy governors, president, vice president should have. You get. So if the constitution has already demarcated that, why will you now be conflicting issue? And let's look at it from moral point of view. Amechi has abandoned his ministry, going from one palace to the other in the last 1 week. visiting the Oni of Ife, visiting their traditional rulers, meeting the delegates of the party, while he's still holding his office as a minister of the Federal Republic, holding sensitive ministry as Ministry of Transportation. Did he cede his power to Gbemisola Saraki, who is the Minister of State for Transportation? The answer is no. You cannot be running that office. Exactly. So you cannot be running your ministry through telephone and email.
And you know, the interesting part of it is that the governors seem to be abiding by the rules because they are giving directives to.
So almost all the governors have asked their aides who are nursing political ambition to resign. The one that these people are relying on.
The same APC that some are saying no, the same party saying no.
Yes, Ganduje has since asked data. Many states have asked their governors as their aides, from commissioners to SAS, that if you are not, go and resign, and they have complied. So why will Ngige and Amaechi's own be different? They are waiting to emerge as candidates and then stay. Then they will go and resign, like a case of Kyle Defayemi in 2018. Who remained as Minister of Solid Mineral up until when he emerged as the candidate of APC in Ekiti State, and a month to the election he now resigned. It's not right. It is not right. It's conflict of interest, because even if you don't use the money of the state to run your campaigns, what about the vehicles? What about the vehicles? What about aides who are paid by the federal post, whom you will be using for political purposes when they are supposed to be non-partisan? And some of them, and some of the governors, you know why they also said they should go and resign? Many of the governors who appoint 1,000, 2008, who become super delegates during party congresses and party primaries. They just went and many of them don't have offices. So they become delegates, apart from the fact that they themselves want to stand at election. That's why Section 84 is dual, is two-sided. It said either to vote or to be voted for. So it's not about, even I'm contesting election. Even if Amaechi and Ngige are not going to be contesting election, if they are going to be voting as delegates in the primaries that is coming, they need to resign. That is the point. Where there is honor, they should not even be protected before they do the needful. That's it.
They gave them waiver during their convention because they said they were former governors before.
No, they didn't even vote.
Okay,
you know, they
I thought they were giving waivers. Okay, yes.
They did consensus. They never voted. So the issue for me, and you know, you can't be relying on your previous position to now say you APC, and I'm glad Abdullahi Adamu is leading by example. Recall, Winifred, recall that Adamu Abdullahi need not resign from Senate. There's no constitutional provision that says he should go resign after he managed as national chairman. Because he was elected into Senate, but the election into the party position in the APC is an internal affairs of the party. Do you get? But he still went and resigned with his deputy national chairman, Kyari. So that is leadership by example. Do you get? It's not everything you have to say, where is it in the constitution? Where is it in? Morality should tell you that even if it's not in the constitution, if you were to be on the other side of the fence, would you not be calling for the same thing?
It is.
So we should not be fetish about where is it written in the constitution. Where in morality, your sense of appreciation, sense of humanity should tell you, no, this thing is not right too. Conscience should tell you that this is not right. How could you be seeing your minister, Amaechi, leaving Abuja, going to campaign for for presidential ambition. And his ministry, all the contractors, the attention they needed, the PASEC has files that he needs to attend to, nobody to attend to it. So I think I want to commend the new leadership of APC.
They want to put things right.
They want to really put things right for 2023 because that's their sustaining power. If they go the way they went in 2019, they will lose more states. Like issue of imposition of candidates. Now they are even running away from consensus. Did you notice that? They are now talking of delegates, and they have 7,800 delegates. So it's most likely going to be indirect primaries, and that is better for them. It's better you go indirect than to do consensus, because with consensus, two conditions have to be met. You have to formally, in writing, write to withdraw. And not only that you are withdrawing, you also have to endorse.
So
if you withdraw and fail to endorse the candidate that has emerged through consensus, it has failed. And then the constitution in section 84 says you have to now go for either direct or indirect primary. So it suits them better to even go through the indirect. Because that one, the other one that was flagged on AIT yesterday, when we were discussing Ijoma Osamo on Democracy Today, was the issue of compliance with section 77, which asks to submit 30 days to the election. The list of their
INEC has already made the announcement to them that they should submit.
They need to submit their membership register in soft and hard copy. Soft and hard copy. So now INEC is not going to waive that for them. They need to be up and running. So there are so many landmines that if they are not very careful,
new electoral
and you know, they have to submit this 30 days to election.
It's
not even a matter of.
INEC has already made the announcement that they
so for them to now say that the party primary will start on May 20 something, if you don't meet that 30 days threshold, whatever you are doing may be a nullity. And that means you have shot yourself in the foot. You see, somebody once told me, even this morning, that our problem is not even majorly corruption, but impunity. The fact that we always get impunity, we get away with blue model. We do things and say, nobody will ask me why I did it. Those are the challenge. That is the major challenge we have. So if we remove impunity from our political and electoral process, we will have better elections. So I'm very glad.
Not just better elections,
of course, better government, better leadership. So I'm very happy with this APC guidelines, which is giving effect to the provision of Section 84. And I'm sure that it shows that they themselves, from legal opinion they have received, they themselves have known that, look, for National Assembly to fail to agree with the president on this point, to insist that they are not going to alter anything, and to have gone on appeal of Justice Ayadike's ruling of March, it shows that and now look at what has happened with Andy Uba. We have Supreme Court has now upheld as of yesterday that yes, he never contested the election. So you can see the court will do the needful, and you don't know. So it's better to err on the side of caution. If at the end of the day, Supreme Court now says, this
public servants are also political appointees,
you can apply that to future elections. You can do that for Kogi and Bayelsa election. That will
just like what you said, I agree with what you said. Sake of morality, you can't be and still using the funds, the resources, the time to go and be campaigning.
Time is a huge resource.
It is.
You are using the time, the vehicles, the state resources to fund your campaigns.
Okay, for those now that have their files on Minister Amechi's table, would they be happy now that their file has not been attending to a minister?
It's not going on an inspection, no. It's not that he's going to inspect train or something that is being built. It's busy going from one palace to the other. when you have very urgent. In fact, if I were to be President Buhari, I would have even asked them to resign the moment they all declare their intention to run.
We're running out of time. Quickly, let's go over to sister publication, National Economy. Is our last paper on our menu for review? Yes, National Economy, talking business. So, status change of illegal refinery solution to oil theft experts. Status change of illegal refineries solution to oil theft experts.
Well, this is a tough one. But you see, whether you call it
oil
theft or illegal refineries, it is that they are thieves. They are thieves to the extent that they didn't buy those crude oil that they are refining illegally. And these activities have been going on for over 60 years. You get. So look at the what it has cost us last week. Thank you, studio, for bringing this. The disaster that happened in Imo State, where over 100 lives were lost last week. You know what led to that was this activity of oil theft. Because this, I have a friend who is from Ohaji Ekwema local government area of Imo State. He said, look, that axis, as former Inspector General of Police is from that area, they have is there a senator or house of representatives for that local government? They have very top people in government, and they don't have a refinery there. Yet you see trucks by the road loading from there every. It's been going on for years. They turn the bad blind eye. Now look at future leader that it has consumed. Youth, majorly youth, over 100. In fact, as at the last update, they said 110.
Yes, that's okay.
So should we continue to encourage this kind of thing? I don't know whether you change the name, it doesn't stop us from calling them thieves. And they are saboteurs. Yes. They have made this country to incur huge economic losses.
Yes.
What they did is economic crime that should be punished if we have the capacity. Because look, we were here on last Wednesday. The budget of Nigeria has to be reviewed downward because of activities of oil theft.
Yeah, right.
Over 300,000 barrels per day is being lost to oil thieves, illegal bunkers, or illegal bunkering. And it is these artisanal refiners that are part of the network. Of course, we know that they are not the only one in the trade. There is also international collaborators who will buy stolen
and security collaborators.
Yes,
security has been providing them cover. Yes.
NCDC, soldiers, police. They are part of the name of the game. The one that happened in Ohaji Ekwema. In fact, my friend who is from that local government said the same military checkpoints back to back along that axis. And the military knows that there is no refinery located there. There is no oil company operating there. There is no fuel station there. And you see on the road, no convoy of trucks. No. Trucks coming to take illegally refined petroleum products from that place. And they never find it expedient to go and smash that syndicate. That is the collusion. And there was a time I took on the Minister of Information and Culture when he said they are spending, the federal government is spending 60 billion naira every year to repair vandalized pipelines. 60 billion every year. I said, why is it uniform amount now? And 60 billion, you have never moved petroleum products through these pipelines for decades. And you still find it expedient to be paying 60 billion to contractors. That is an incentive for them to continue to vandalize. Because if they don't vandalize, they will be out of business.
To justify the money.
Exactly. So 60 billion not be my money. And I ask in that piece, is this appropriated for? Is there an appropriation? The National Assembly is appropriating 60 billion every year to repair vandalized pipelines. And every year, the amount never changed. So if you are not making, why don't you give up these pipelines and focus on the roads and maybe waterways? If we have better waterways, all these trucks that we are doing from Lagos, Apapa, to if there is access to the sea, you move them in interland, and then from Kogi you can distribute, and which will be faster. Or train.
Yes.
You can also use train to move petroleum products. But today, God, Minister Amechi is busy campaigning when he should be going on inspection of all this train network. And
it also throws another angle that talking about politics, Nigerian youths have to be aware, because seeing the situation we are in right now, Nigeria should not be taken in by these, I don't want to use derogatory words, by these aspirants coming in. Because somebody that has to be able to think out of the box. Because most of these aspirants, they are actually governors in their respective states.
Of course.
So we begin to ask ourselves, what have they done in their states that they are coming to vie for the #1 seat?
The unfortunate thing is that we don't do background check, or we don't care. I said on a TV program yesterday, I said the moment you did, and we are part of the problem. That's the point I was trying to make with that point. That, look, we citizens are part of the problem. We don't ask the questions. The moment somebody declares, Winifred, if you declare to be running for governors today, you become your excellency. Your home that you think nobody knows, they will flock over there and say, Auntie, Honorable, Your Excellency, this is your daughter. She just get admission to Veritas University. Please, I need, even if it's 1 million, you can give me to pay her fees. This one will say, they have not eaten. And this one will say, his wife is in the hospital. We're about to give birth. She needs money. He needs money for cesarean. They will come with all their life problems. You have not won the office. You have not even won the election. Everybody becomes your own children. This your daughter is going to be married next week. Please, Your Excellency, please come and help us. So when he's doling out all those money, you never knew that he's going to recoup that money if he or she becomes realize that ambition. That's where we are complicit as ordinary citizens. Because what is the whole essence of having political debates? Debates are supposed to examine and x-ray the candidates who are offering themselves for service. But after that, how many people will even watch the debate anyway? They are watching Premiership. They are watching Big Brother. They are watching musicals. Or adults. I don't know adults watch cartoons. Some adults are watching, they are fixated on Z-World. Or Telemundo.
I went to see a lawmaker.
Which one do you watch? Is this Z-World?
You have to do an investigation to find that. You have to carry out an investigation to find that.
Don't doubt you. I will tell you the outcome of my investigation. So, they would rather do that than ask and follow up with campaigns.
But one thing though is that these people, they are still governors of their respective states, and Nigerians know them, they see them, their antecedents, what they have done so far. So I just feel that Nigerians should be able to make better choices when it comes to voting, because they can't be taken in again. Nobody should be deceived again.
We should not.
What have they done? You ask, what have they done? What did they do with their states?
When they are lying
people that are owing their workers 2 years, 9 months.
Is it not the one that is paying in percentages that say he's not owing any worker, and that he's even the first to go and buy for? And he's paying percentage. There is a video trending about that state where, I don't know if you watch it, somebody went and do a video of children studying in thatch roof classrooms. I say, in fact, thatch roof classroom. In shed, shed that those women who sell beans, that's where and the whole school has only 2 teachers. In that state, 2 teachers. And there is no school uniform. Even when there is no principal, there is no, and that's a school in your state.
Even some of the states that even have more funds, revenue allocated to them, you ask yourself, what did they do?
What are they doing and what have they done? But we need to continue to judge up that to war. 2023, I'm sure, will be different with adequate conscientization from all our Sunday. It will be different.
Well, we've come to the end of today's program, Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. With me in the studio has been Mr. Jide Ojo, TV columnist, a TV host, syndicated columnist, and public affairs analyst. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Tomorrow is my birthday. I hope I will receive a gift.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
In advance, sorry.
In advance. It's all right. Thank you much.
So we wish you more glorious years ahead.
Amio.
So much. So viewers, don't forget to keep a date with us tomorrow, same station on Inside Nigeria. I remain Winifred. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.